Alright, good morning. It's Sunday morning. We're doing something a little different here. We're cooking in the kitchen. This is making my breakfast for the week. So I've got some onion chopped up here. Samantha was so nice to do that for me. I think it's about half of an onion, depending on the size of an onion. Half to a full onion, just kind of depending. And then this is ground turkey that I get from the grocery store. This is about 1.5 pounds. I use somewhere between 1.25 pounds and 1.5 pounds. I don't get too picky, just kind of what the grocery store weighs out. I don't make them get too precise. Samantha's probably gonna kill me because she doesn't know I use this, but this is some rosemary garlic seasoning, and we go through this pretty fast around our house. Gonna have to probably get some more of it next time we're at Sam's Club, but I don't measure anything out. I just, yep, that looks about right. And I also use some Italian seasoning. So, and we'll just go ahead and get this all browned up, and then we'll go on to the next step. Okay, now that that's browned up, this is a 10 by 15 glass baking pan, and I've got a spritzer here with olive oil in it. So we're gonna just grease our pan up. Alright, then we're gonna start putting this all together. I've just got a bag of frozen hash browns. This is about a 5-pound bag. About what gets used in this hash brown egg bake. So basically I just take and cover the bottom. I don't get too precise on measurements or anything with this part of it. I just kind of nicely, I'll need a bit more yet. There we go. Get a nice layer covering the whole bottom. Then I'll spread out this browned meat, and I just kind of roughly cut it in half. And move that pan a little closer, make it easier on me. And then we just spread that meat and onion mixture out over our first layer of hash browns. I got a little bit more meat this time because I am closer to the 1.5 pounds. Like I said earlier, I go anywhere from 1.25 pounds to 1.5 pounds. That's what seems to work. If I get less than 1.25 pounds, there just doesn't seem to be enough meat. If I get more than 1.5 pounds, it seems too much. As long as my meat department in my grocery store gets in between that, I don't worry about it. I don't get too fussy. So we got that. So we got a layer of hash brown, a layer of meat, and we're gonna put another layer of hash brown in. And again, it's just kind of covering the meat. Doesn't have to be real thick, but just nicely covering it, basically, so that all I can see is hash brown when I'm looking at it, and I don't really see meat, is kind of what the goal is. May have to get the second bag out here. This is a partial bag that I had open, so I always try to use up the oldest first. Might make it, actually. Close enough. Alright. Then the rest of the meat. Okay, now we're going to top that off with more hash browns. Now when I do this, I usually heat the hash browns up in the middle because it will kind of settle as it cooks. So I put a generous amount, especially right down the center, and kind of compensate for what it's going to do. But I mostly want to make sure it's pretty much right up to the edges on the outsides, all the way around the perimeter of the pan, and then, like I said, heaped up a bit in the center. So that's what I'll work on now. Put the hash browns away, and next is the egg mixture to go over the top. Alright, so I got my mixing bowl, my whisk, and some spices, some milk. So I use a cup of milk. I cheat because we don't, with Samantha and the kids allergic to dairy, we don't keep much milk in the house, and I only use it for this. So there's our local gas station has these little, oops, get it in the shot so you can see it. These little, they are 8 ounces of milk, so perfect. I don't have to do anything, no measuring, no nothing, just pour it in, I'm done. So that makes it a little bit easier. So I use those. Then I use some onion powder. Now this is McCormick brand, and their powder is not real powder. It's it's smaller than granules, but it's not real powder. I don't know if you can see that, but I like that better. I've used the real powdery stuff and it just doesn't mix in very good. So I use 1 teaspoon of that. And then garlic powder. Again, I'm using McCormick, and it's not full powder. And this is garlic, and half of a teaspoon of that. And yes, my stovetop was clean, so I'm not worried about picking up some of the hash browns that I spilled on the stovetop and putting them in. Alright, eggs. Full dozen eggs. Alright, now I'm just going to take and whip all of this together. Get those egg yolks all busted up in there. Get that garlic and onion mixed in good. Alright, now I've got that mixed in good. And I'm going to just carefully pour this over the top, try to evenly kind of spread it out a bit. Try not to run over the pan and spill. That's been done a time or two, but I try not to. Alright, got that poured over the top. Looks like I may have missed an eggshell, so I'm going to pick that out of there, get rid of that eggshell. Alright, and that goes in the oven, 350 degrees. I bake it for an hour and 15 minutes. Once that's baked, then we'll pull it out and put some cheese on the top. So we'll check back with you in a bit. Alright, welcome back. So we've now baked this for an hour and 15 minutes. It's come out, it's got nice golden brown on the top of some of those hash browns, and the eggs are all pretty well cooked through. So I've got an 8-ounce bag of some Colby Jack shredded cheese here. So I'm going to just take and sprinkle this cheese evenly over the top, and then we're going to put it back in the oven for another 15 minutes, still at 325, and just kind of let that cheese melt in nicely, and give it just a little bit of a final cook here. So that's what we're up to next. So it's looking good, and we're getting almost done. So I'm just gonna get this cheese spread out. All right, something like that. We'll throw her back in the oven. Catch you later. Okay, and we're out of the oven. So doesn't that look good? So now I'll let this cool for a bit and slice that up. I normally cut it into a dozen pieces, and I use 2 pieces each day, so it's 6 days worth of breakfast for me. And then I'll put a cover on it. I got a big cover that snaps right over the top, and I'll put this in the fridge here after I let it cool for a bit and slice it. And then in the mornings, I'll just pull out a couple of pieces, put it on a plate, throw it in the microwave for a couple minutes, warm it up, and I got instant breakfast. So there you go, a different breakfast idea for you guys. It takes a little bit of time, 1 day a week, but then the rest of the week you're good to go. It just takes very little. So, all right, hope you enjoyed. Have a good one. We'll catch you next time.